Hello internets, this is BoneCarlos coming to you live from Metropolis LE to bring you another StarCraft 2 commentary. Today we're going to be looking at, it looks like a ZVP. The Protoss player is going to be NecronLord, spawning as the blue pieces in, I would say, about the 4 o'clock position. Actually, that's about a 3 o'clock position if you can read an analog clock, in which case, for some reason, I can't today. His opponent is going to be ORRY, or how he pronounces it is ORRY, and he's going to be spawning as the red Zerg over in the 7 o'clock position. So pretty much going to be cross-map positioning. And like I said, this is going to be NecronLord, I believe is what it is called. I believe that's what it called it. And it's a new map for Season 6 or 7, I believe. And it has some interesting just spots, and just I think it's actually a remake of an earlier map in the seasons. I believe it was like season 2 or 3. I'm not quite sure. I could be wrong, I could be right, but who knows. But anyways, it is a very interesting map, and it has been known to cause a lot of slowdowns in a lot of people's computers. It has been fixed as of this cast. I believe there was a little bit of a patch and a little bit of maintenance, and everything is hunky-dory, a-okay as of now. But let's go ahead and get back into the game. I do believe these both players are either high platinum or diamond level players. I'm not quite sure, but I doubt they're master level player. And just judging by the APM, I'm going to go ahead and say they aren't masters level player. I know a lot of people say that APM is not an indication of skill, but that is a clear indicator that they are not masters level players, in my opinion. And as we can see, we see NecronLord doing a Forge Fast Expand, which is going to be very easy since there are these destructible debris that will be able to complete this wall up quite easily. It looks like there is a gap here, and in my opinion, he's going to go ahead and put that cannon right here to complete this wall off. Or not. He's going to go ahead and go straight for a Nexus first, since he sees that the spawning pool isn't up quite yet. And it looks like he's not, ORRY is not gearing up to take his expansion. He's already has the extractor up and running with the drones harvesting. So it looks like speedlings are going to be underway as soon as the spawning pool hatches. And there it goes. So he's going to have speedlings quite quickly, but up against the Forge Fast Expand, speedlings are going to do squat really, and it looks like a complete wall off by NecronLord. I still say there's a bit of a gap here to be able to just slip a couple of links past it, but a single Zealot will be able to block it off if that is indeed the case. ORRY is still not, actually looks like he's finally put down his hatchery, and it looks like he hasn't sent out a scouting drone just yet, just that scouting overlord, so he has no idea where his opponent is. NecronLord is finally putting down his pylon, but no gas as of yet. He's still devoting a lot of his minerals to actually nothing quite yet. He's going to wait for that gateway to finish planting, finish building, to be able to put down his cybernetics core, but still his gas is fairly late. I mean, you want to put down your gas about halfway through the gateway production, but with this extra Nexi, he's going to be able to churn out those assimilators and going to get caught up quite quickly. While over in ORRY's base, his metabolic boost for his Zerglings is going to be finished up in a couple of seconds, but that's really not going to do much up against the Forge Fast Expand. He's going to help with those laps for those patrolling Zerglings early on, but beyond that, nothing much. A single Zealot is going to be built, but really that's just more to keep your opponent honest. And what I found when I Forge Fast Expand up against a Zerg player, you got to be very careful that your opponent doesn't do a Baneling bust. You want to have a couple of sentries down, some stalkers down fairly early, because a Baneling bust at around 7 minutes is no fun when you only have 1 or 2 gateways fully operational. Looks like NecronLord is going to go for mass gas, so going to see a high-tech play coming out of him. His cybernetics core is way late. I mean, it's at 6 minutes. Going to push forward with a single Zealot to try to get a couple of free kills. It looks like no kills quite yet. A lot of those Zerglings are down to a couple of swipes, but this Zealot is going to be taken down quite easily. He's trying to bait those Zerglings, but ORRY wants no part of it. He's going to look like he's going to try to surround that Zealot, but it looks like he's going to survive yet again with his brother there to back him up. These Zerglings are going to force to be pulled back, and already taking his third. But like I was saying, you don't want to and get too greedy and not have enough of a defense up in case your opponent goes quick Baneling Bust, because it has happened before and it just sucks to have all these structures destroyed and then have absolutely nothing. But NecronLord looks like he's pulling down a couple of more gateways. He still hasn't started his gateway, so like I was saying, more than likely gold, high gold, mid platinum level play, and the Stargate is being put down. So no gateway, looks like he no warp gate yet, and with these two gateways, look like he's gonna go a mix of air and ground units. More than likely gonna use this to build a couple of phoenixes to harass, to keep his opponent overlords in his natural base, not being able to scout that much. And then follow up with a quick early aggression with that ground army, while his opponent pretty much overexerts himself by putting down spore crawlers, building extra queens, going straight for hydras, stuff like that. And it looks like that's exactly what he's going to be trying to do. But right now he's a little bit of a supply blocked. He's getting +1 weapons upgrades and putting down another gateway. So right now he's going to go for a little bit of a funky timing, while ORRY is just putting down a Roach War and finally gets his second extractor at his main, and putting down a spore crawler just in case. Nothing yet at his natural, and it's going to take a while for these zealots to bust through these rocks, but you know what, they're not doing much else in the game quite yet, so why not have him churn out the destructible brewery. But no spore crawler here at the third as of yet. There are plenty of queens there for early aggression up against a couple of phoenixes, but let's see what he's pulling out, and it looks like he's just going straight for a void ray tech. Boom, got it all set, and it looks like the zealots were taken out by this pack of zerglings. They didn't have much of a chance. Looking over at the units lost tab, we see only 4 units lost by ORRY, and it looks like most of them, or actually all of them, are going to be zerglings, while 3 units lost are in NecronLord's tally tab. Looks like both of those zealots and a single probe was taken out. And looks like he's finally putting down a robotics facility, but this is going to be an interesting tech path for NecronLord. I mean, he has a Stargate up, he's turning out those void rays, and he's pulling out this robotics facility. Not sure exactly what he's going to be using that for quite yet. More than likely just observers. I doubt he's going to go into Colossus Tech, because if he does go into Colossus Tech, it's going to be very hard to support this Stargate void, churning out void rays with this robotic ray churning out Colossi. So there's not quite enough similar gas input, especially when you only have 2 probes on one assimilator, to be able to maintain that heavy gas production. And ORRY is producing a lot of roaches. Looks like he's gearing up finally to push forward with heavy roach production. I mean, wow, looking at the units count tab, we already see 25 roaches on the field of play, and looks like he's going to start droning up immediately. Still no drones on this extractor quite yet. The second one has already popped, so a couple of mistakes piling up here and there, and actually that was the tagline along with this replay, that the mistakes were piling up on ORRY's side. So let's see exactly what he does right now. And looking at the units tab, we see two void rays, 4 stalkers, and 4 zealots. So if ORRY pushes forward and does enough damage, this could be game over, GG for NecronLord. I mean, yes, he has 2 void rays on the field, but ORRY could easily just bust through this front right here and split up his roaches and just pick off at anything and everything. And it looks like the battle is going to go ahead and go forward. He's going to try to take out this zealot, completing this wall off. He's going to focus fire on the forge. It goes down quite quickly. A bunch of stalkers were put down. Blink is on the way, but not quite yet finished. He does manage to take out that single photon cannon, takes down a pylon, a single phoenix there to lift off these units, and looks like ORRY is going to focus fire this Stargate, make sure no other air units are on the field of play. But there is a full surround on these roaches. The stalkers were warped in at just the right time. Looks like ORRY is just going to sag these roaches, trying to take down as many probes as possible. But really, that was a lot of damage done to ORRY. He pushed too far forward, got surrounded, and really missed his window. I mean, the warp gates for NecronLord were finished exactly at the right time that he needed them, and Blink was also finished as well. But seriously, that was just a lot of units lost. I mean, looking at the units lost, we see 47 for ORRY. Most of those and all of those were pretty much roaches. 3,000 minerals resources lost in his tally, and it looks like NecronLord is sitting comfortable at about half the resources lost. He does have a full complement again of roaches, but after that huge loss, it's going to be hard to pull back from that. It looks like he does have a Hydralex's Den up and running. He saw that Stargate being churning out those Void Rays, and it looks like, I'm interested to see exactly where they are. There they are. Two are going to push forward. Looks like there is a single Spore Crawler here at the third double click. I see. Where is that? Oh, there it is. The second one is behind enemy lines. It looks like ORRY's going to push forward with this single coin, going to try to take down this Void Ray. The Void Rays do take down the Extractor, but really that not so much. I actually like to see him uproot this Spore Crawler, place it here, and he'll be safe from further harassment from those Void Rays. Seeing a single Phoenix, he's just going to go ahead and scatter out, see if there's anything too peculiar going on, but nothing too crazy or out of the ordinary. NecronLord does finally manage to take his third, so right now it is even base for both players, and that's not something you want to be as a Zerg player. As a Protoss player, you're sitting pretty at 3 bases. I mean, your main isn't even mined out completely quite yet. Your natural isn't fully saturated, and your third isn't either. But having 3 bases is no problem. ORRY sees that, takes his fourth, and really this is just an oh crap feeling. To be honest with you, he knows that he is behind. He lost a lot of units in that push, and right now he pretty much knows that there is that this Protoss player has 3 bases. I mean, he must have an inclination. I would actually like to see more scouting from this overland and more creep spread, really. From ORRY, just creep spread. Right now you should have half the map completely covered. NecronLord is going to push forward. Looks like he just wants to take the Zilnog Towers. He's trying to push forward with these Blink Stalkers, with Colossus backup, it looks like, and High Templars are on the field of play. Looks like he's currently boosting out that Psionic Storm. And the minerals and resources are fairly low, and ooh, a nice surround by these Zerglings, but Blink does prevail for the time being, and blinks out of that surround, and the slow-moving Roaches and Hydras are going to have a tough time trying to catch up with these Stalkers without any kind of Bling backup to be able to do that surround. And if ORRY did have that creep spread to his advantage to be able to close resistance fairly quickly, looks like a couple of those 4 High Templar were morphed into Archons. One falls almost immediately. Let's get the focus fire down this Colossi, but it does manage to micro away. This second Immortal is taken down. I'm sorry to say that was an Archon. It's quickly taken down alongside with that Colossus, but again he's gonna ORRY is gonna be surrounded for the second time, and his entire force is going to be taken down. NecronLord is blinking away to save those Stalkers, and he's just doing it wonderfully so far. Looks like the final forces of ORRY are taken out. Looking at the units lost tab, we see, wow, the gap was closed just a little bit in the resources department, but in the units lost tab, we see only 34 for NecronLord. So again, huge losses by ORRY. That was just a bad engagement yet again. He got completely surrounded. He pushed too far forward, and once you get surrounded with those slow-moving Zerg units off of creep, it's pretty much going to be game over for you. NecronLord is senses the advantage, is going to go ahead and try to push it yet again by taking a 4th. So in a few minutes, he's going to go ahead and be even on bases with ORRY yet again. And taking a look at the units, we actually see ORRY with looks like he does have the upgrade advantage. Actually +3 damage already for NecronLord, 1 armor upgrade, while ORRY is sitting on 222 all the way across and still churning out that 3 melee. And the second evolution chamber just hanging out here waiting for orders. And it looks like NecronLord is feeling comfortable with these 2 Colossi. Actually a trio of High Templar ready with their Psionic Storms. Each has 1 in its pocket. And it looks like a little bit of an attack is going to go and happen. A couple of Corruptors are there for those Colossi. But this Stalker count is just quite a bit high. Nice storms all the way across. ORRY does not even try to micro out. Finally does after that 3rd storm falls, blinked forward to try to take down any kind of stragglers, and those Psionic rounds were perfect. Did a ton of damage to those units, and really that was the moneymaker attack for NecronLord. Again, he only suffered about 10 units lost, while ORRY looks like he lost about 20 in that engagement. He does have a quick replenishment of Roaches, but Roaches versus High Templars and Colossi aren't really the best matchup that you want. A Greater Spire is being built, but that's going to be a long way coming. Another engagement is going to go ahead and happen. Looks like NecronLord was caught a bit out of position. He wasn't quite ready. The Corruptor does fall. Looks like a second one might go down, and NecronLord is trying to blink around to try to get himself in the best position possible. And Archon does fall. The Zealots do fall. The Colossi fall as well. So right now it's going to be Blink Stalkers versus Roaches, and ORRY wants no part of that. He does have Burrow, so he will be able to regenerate his health on these Roaches quite quickly. And right now ORRY doesn't really want that much of a battle. He wants to re-engage with his units. He does Burrow, and it's going to go ahead and move around. And I would actually like to see a sneak Burrow attack on his on his opponent's fourth or third, but it looks like he's just going to hang around here and wait for reinforcements while he takes his fifth. And it looks like the Forge is building the level 2 shields upgrade and level 3 ground armor for NecronLord, with a couple of Colossi as replenishment. And he does have 2 robotics facilities up and running. A couple of gateways here not turned into warp gates quite yet. Broodlords are finally on the field of play for ORRY, and this might be the game changer. If he pumps in about 5 or 6 more Broodlords, it might spell the difference between the future engagements. But NecronLord finally does have his 4th base running at a decent saturation. His natural is almost mined out. His main is still, I would say, about 25% from being completely mined out. Wow. ORRY's main is pretty much done. His natural still has a ways to go, as is with his 3rd. His 4th is still a long way from being done, and 5th is going to pop out in a few seconds. And still the mainly stalker force of NecronLord is going to push forward and say S for the split that's happening right here at the middle. While his Zealots, High Templar, and Colossus are back at home. So I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to plan with this. Looks like he's just scouting around to see exactly what's going on. It says a number 11 for no reason whatsoever. It looks like NecronLord is just scouting around to make sure there isn't any kind of crazy bases going on. Right now he does have a nice view of the map. He knows there is one at the main, one at the 3rd, but nothing else beyond that. And same thing with ORRY. I mean, he knows the first the main is taken, where the main is, the natural is taken, but other than that, nothing. Not scouting is very limited. Again, a creep spread, and ooh, if these stalkers get caught out of position, they do manage to blink away and run away to fight another day. But like I was saying, the scouting is very minimal on both players. I like to see ORRY vamp up that creep spread, while at the same time using overlords, overseers to put down those changelings just to get information on what exactly your opponent is doing. NecronLord is doing some crazy shenanigans by putting down 17,000 more gateways. And really he's pretty much maxed. Both players are maxed out, so putting down 15-16 gateways is the way to go. I mean, once as a Protoss player you max out your army, put down those 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 gateways to be able to replenish your army in 1 to 2 warp cycles, while ORRY is very saturated on this larva. He doesn't want to engage quite yet. He is maxed out, but mostly with roaches. 50 roaches on the field of play, and a maxed out roach army is not what you want as a Zerg player. And it looks like finally NecronLord does finally put together his army, and is going to go ahead and push forward, but not enough Broodlords. I mean, there's only 3 Broodlords on the field of play. ORRY just trying to push forward, but clumps up under those psionic storms. The blink forward has occurred. NecronLord is going to go ahead and have his leisure with these Broodlords. Managed to take out 2 of the 3. Doesn't want to engage these spine crawlers quite yet, but right now he is a-okay. ORRY is churning out 3 more roaches, but again, roaches versus Colossi and blink stalkers is a no bueno, especially with a High Templar backup. I mean, there is only 1 High Templar, but ORRY does not know that. The Colossus are using their extensive range to being able to bring down these spine crawlers at range and from a distance. A couple of roaches get ballsy, get zapped, and finally the NecronLord decides to push forward. Mothership is coming on the field of play, but I do not think it's going to be a factor in this game whatsoever. No blinkage is happening. Psionic Storm finally does go down, and looks like it's just going to 1A himself to victory. That's it for ORRY's army. There are 41 roaches in production, but without any kind of backup, this has actually turned out to be quite an even fight. No Colossus on the field, purely Stalkers engaging on the creep. A Psionic Storm does go off in a well-placed spot. Another one does manage to take down a couple. He manages to take down half of his High Templar, but a nice surround by ORRY, but the blink does come into play yet again. A single High Templar there for the picking with 200 energy. ORRY walks right by it, says, "What's up, bro? I know you're full of energy, but I got to chase down these Stalkers." And there it is, and the single Psionic Storm does go down. And one volley does take down that single High Templar. So wow, bad engagement for the first time by NecronLord, but really it was just ORRY's 300 food push that he was able to do with those saved up larvae. And right now both players are going to be about even food in one more warp cycle from NecronLord. So it's going to be Stalkers versus Roaches. Right now there is a heavy saturation at ORRY's fifth, since there isn't really anything else at his third. His natural still has enough minerals to be able to be mined from efficiently, but really it's just down to 2 mining bases versus, it looks like 1, 2, 3 from NecronLord. I mean, NecronLord is going to go ahead and take the 5th while leaving that Overlord to spot everything, while ORRY is going to take the 6th. And this is actually an interesting spot, because this is from where NecronLord is attacking. So an interesting spot to take. I would rather have him take this expansion here while attacking from this avenue of attack, just to cover the new expansion. You know NecronLord is attacking from this avenue, so why take the expansion that is in the obvious path of that? And this mothership is just hanging out, doing its thing. Looks like the Corruptors are going to give it chase. There are enough Corruptors to be able to take this down in a few volleys. I like to see Corruption being planted on this mothership. The shields are finally done. Looks like it's half HP. One more volley is going to take down, and a free mothership kill from ORRY. It looks like the Stalkers are there finally on the field of battle. They still have blink, so blinkage is going to occur. Enough Broodlords to be able to pin them down. Finally the High Templar do go down and get down a couple of nice storms, but ORRY is just going to go ahead and tank them. Going to push forward. Going to keep trying to pick them off from a distance with these Broodlords. NecronLord is forced to retreat, but a fresh warping of Stalkers gets him back up to max army, and the Colossus are completely out of position. A couple of volleys will be able to take them down, but it looks like they were a click move, and again ORRY is pushed into a bad situation. He is completely surrounded and loses a lot of Roaches needlessly. A lot of Corruptors are being morphed into Broodlords, but they're going to be forced to retreat quickly, or else they're going to be lost quite easily to this Blink Stalker army. NecronLord is again maxed out, while at the same time so is ORRY. But right now it's going to come down to whoever runs out of resources first. ORRY's minerals and larva, or it looks like NecronLord does have fully mining bases, so it looks like another blink forward. And like I was saying before, this hatchery was placed at a bad location. I mean, the avenue of attack just made it obvious that it was going to be scouted out by NecronLord, and it does go down quite quickly, quite easily. It looks like Broodlords are there from ORRY to be able to try to pick off the retreat from NecronLord, but another one blink forward is going to end this Broodlord attack quite easily. But there is a nice surround by these Roaches. It looks like the Roaches are going straight for the Colossi, while these Broodlords are going to attack anything and everything underneath them. The Colossi, one Colossi does go down, the second one finally follows it, and the third is going to follow it quite quickly, but it looks like there is just too much Stalker to be able to be taken out quite effectively by these Broodlords. Finally, the Corruptors does go down. There are only 2 Broodlords left. There is too many Stalkers there on the field of play. The Corruptor does go down. Last Corruptor remaining. A couple of Roaches there, but they are going to be just negligible for this battle. A fresh stream of Roaches are going to be coming, but ORRY decides to tap out. GG, well played. And he did say mistakes were piling up one after another from ORRY, and I would say, well, first off, with the scouting, the creep spread was non-existent, and really just a straight Roach army versus Protoss is not going to get the job done, especially when they're High Templar on the field, Blink Stalkers on the field of play, Colossus on the field of play. I would actually like to see a tech switch to Infestors. I mean, you did have the gas there to be able to put down some Infestors, put down some fungal growths, some neural parasites to be able to turn the tide of battle in your favor, and that would have been the A-OK ace move if you would have gone that route. But that was it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. I felt a little bit rusty since I took about a week and a half off, so hopefully I'll go ahead and get into the rhythm of play, rhythm of casting, I would say. for the next couple of casts that I do. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Enjoy, guys.